Hello, my name is Robert Dean Steele, and this is your daily Bible class. Listen to what it says in Revelation chapter 21, verse number 9. One of the seven angels who had the seven bowls full of the seven last plagues came to me and said, I want to show you something. He says, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. Think about that. This angel comes to John, and he says, I'm going to show you something spectacular, something wonderful. And that is the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And it says, he carried me away in the Spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. Now, in our last time together, we talked about how there was a new heaven and new earth had been created. The old earth and the old heavens had been passed away. We're in a new time period. And he says, let me show you now the bride, the wife of the Lamb, and where they're going to dwell. Well, it says this. He went to a great high mountain. And I think it probably had to do with the fact that it was going to be a great panoramic view. And out of heaven, he sees this beautiful city, the new Jerusalem, coming out from heaven. And he says, it shone with the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of a precious jewel, like jasper, clear as crystal. So here's John standing on a great big huge mountain, and he's looking up towards heaven, and he sees this beautiful city coming down. And the Bible says it's literally brilliant. It's shining so wonderfully and so beautiful, and it's clear as crystal, like a precious jewel. And then he goes on to say this. It had great high walls with 12 gates and with 12 angels at each one of the gates. So as he's appearing up, he can see this great big huge wall, and he sees this city with this wonderful high wall and 12 gates, and there are 12 angels at each gate. So you see the city coming down, this great big huge high wall, and 12 angels standing guard at each one of the 8. And it says, and on the gates were written the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. So here you have these wonderful gates, and each one of these gates is guarded by 12 angels. And then on each one of these gates is the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. Very interesting. Of course, signifying the Old Testament, signifying the nation of Israel, signifying God's continuous blessing to the people of Israel. And then he says, there were 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. So you have 3 gates facing each one of the directions, north, south, east, and west. Beautiful, beautiful city. And then it says, the wall of the city had 12 foundations. So you have these different directions, okay? And you have the 12 foundations. I can only imagine what that would actually look like. You know, you have this huge wall, and then it has 12 foundations underneath it. And it says, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Isn't that exciting? So you have the gates of the city, which is the representation of the Old Testament, and then the foundations of the new city is the new covenant based in the 12 apostles. And so there you have this beautiful city coming down. And it says, the angel who talked with me also had a measuring rod of gold. Imagine that. To measure the city, its gates, and its walls. And so they begin the process of actually measuring out this gate. And it says the city was laid out like a square, as long as it was wide. And he measured the city with a rod and found it to be 12 stadia, in length as it was wide as it is high. So it's not just a square, it's a cube is literally what it is. And 12,000 stadia is quite a long ways. You might say it is basically 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. It's over 3,700,000,000 square miles. That's how big it is. Do you think it might have enough area for you and for me? I remember one time talking to my congregation. I said, just imagine, let's say there's 3.7 billion Christians. And the Lord gives us 1 square mile. Think about that. 1 square mile by this way, by this way, by this way. It's an amazing. I said, is that enough area for you? One of the brothers said, oh yeah, that's more than enough area for me. And he says this, the angel measured the wall using human measurement, and it was 144 cubits thick. 144 cubits thick. That means that it was 216 feet wide. Wow! Can you think about that? In one translation, it also said that it was 216 square feet high. So that is pretty amazing when you think about it. And it says the wall was made of jasper and the city of pure gold, as pure as glass. So you have this wall that is made of pure jasper. And the city itself is made of pure gold. I mean, let's face it, when God does anything, it's quite extravagant. In fact, he is an extravagant God. When we use the word awesome or extravagant, that is a human attempt to try to describe in human words what actually God is. You can't describe it. But then it goes on to say, it talks about the different foundations of the stone, of the city walls. Now, it was decorated with every kind of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper. The second was sapphire. The third, agate. The fourth was emerald. The fifth was onyx. The sixth was ruby. The seventh was chrysolite. The eighth was beryl. The ninth was topaz. The 10th was turquoise. The 11th was jacinth. And the 12th was amethyst. Interesting. In the ancient world, these were considered precious, precious stones. And as far as God was concerned, these were precious stones. But I noticed something here, and maybe you do as well. Did you notice there's no diamonds there? It just shows you that the value of man. Man thinks that diamonds are absolutely the most precious stone of all. But in the New Jerusalem, diamonds are not considered at all valuable. Interesting thought. It says the 12 gates were made of 12 pearls, and each gate was made of a single pearl. A single pearl. So you have this gate made of a single pearl. Can you imagine a pearl? 216 feet high. Wow. That is incredible. Just absolutely incredible. And it says, and the city of the street of the city of the gate was gold. This whole thing is just blowing me absolutely away. It really, really is when you look at it. It says it was pure gold, as transparent as glass. Now, gold is an incredible thing when you absolutely think about it. And this is the description of what the city, the New Jerusalem, is going to look like. 100 walls that are 216 feet high. Walls that are 16 feet wide. You have gates made of one single pearl, streets of gold and transparent as glass. It is going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And all of that is for you and for me who know him, have given our lives to him. That's what's in our future, and I think that's so exciting. Well, my name is Robert Dean Steele. This is your daily Bible class, and you have yourself a great and godly day.